how about non-league Macclesfield just pulling off one of the biggest upsets in the FA Cup, knocking out the title holders, Crystal Palace 2-1. There's 117 places between them in the divisions, Troy. Is this one of the greatest upsets you've ever seen in football in your lifetime?
100%. I think not only for Macclesfield being in a wonderful position of getting promoted many times in their very short career, they obviously went under as well and been recreated. But I think for being Crystal Palace, a team that won the FA Cup last year, beating Man City, a team that have won the Community Shield as well this year in Europa Conference League, and one of the favourites to win that. Their manager's been linked with Man United. Their players are all being poached for being so good. And they got beat up today. They got beat up by a Macclesfield team that just wanted it more, hungrier. And it's the magic of the FA Cup. This is what we love this competition for in England.
We saw the scenes, Grell. How crazy are they? John Rooney as well, the manager, Wayne Rooney, on the sideline, congratulating him.
I've played in these games in the FA Cup. Everyone says, oh, you should win that game. You make a lot more money. You got a lot more experience. You're a better team. The beauty of football, while we all love football, is because when you cross the line, there's no more money, there's no more experience, there's no more nothing. There's 11 motivated men you see from these pictures on the same page, organized, going for the game, and they don't care that it was Crystal Palace in front of them. And you bet your bottom dollar that as soon as that first goal went in from a set piece, which is where Crystal Palace has struggled big, and they got that set piece, and their tails went up in the air, Crystal Palace was like, uh-oh, these are very difficult games to play in. All credit to Macclesfield because obviously Crystal Palace, they should win the game, but what they did in the game was enough to win.
And you just made a great point there. There's been moments when you expected to win, you kind of go in a little bit lethargic, and as soon as a team punches you in the mouth, like Macclesfield did, you're shell-shocked and you can't get back into it. And Palace scored very late in the game, and they've probably got the better players. Every single one of their players is worth more than Macclesfield, probably. So when you look at it, it's like a game you should win, but when you're not mentally there, this is what happens. And it happens every year in the FA Cup.
Well, you said this is probably the biggest we've ever seen. Here's just a look at some of the most notable big upsets that we've seen, obviously, in this competition. You've got Lincoln City. They beat Burnley in 2017. Luton Town did the same against Norwich in 2012. And then you've got to go all the way back to the 90s. So it just kind of puts into perspective just how big of a result this is. Yeah,
it's huge. Again, we talk about it like every year a team comes through and you're like, wow, didn't see that coming. You can put all these wonderful big magical games on. We see it across every property that we own here, whether it be Serie A, whether it be the EFL, the Carabao Cup. The FA Cup is the beautiful game that no matter what, every single year, a big one gets knocked out. And it comes from a team that you didn't expect. And you're watching the game like we watched it today. You don't sit and think, oh, they were lucky to get that. It was like, whoa, you couldn't tell the difference who's who. And the AstroTurf pitch, the smaller changing rooms, does everything that the Premier League teams hate.
Is that one of the beauties as well of as the FA Cup? Grella is obviously an English competition. They go to the lower seed. In Italy, it's a little bit different, right? But you really get to see these big Premier League teams playing at stadiums like this, or, you know, stadiums that have such low capacity compared to what they used to. And they're absolutely packed, and you can see them all flooding the pitch after.
This is a memory they'll take with them for the rest of their lives. Them, the fans, the organization, for sure. And it is difficult for Crystal Palace. On one side, it's like you want to give credit to Macclesfield. Obviously, they deserve all the credit in the world. On the flip side, everyone's going to say, well, they're Crystal Palace. They should win that game. They're FA Cup holders from last season. I'm just telling you now, from personal experience, these games are not easy to play in. They're really difficult to play in because of where you have to go, play on AstroTurf, because of the pace of the game. Think about how many awkward situations. You're a Premier League player, and now all of a sudden you're playing, with all due respect to this team that just accomplished this, playing against guys in a scrappier way that maybe you do a move and they don't even read the first one and they're still there on the second one. You watch the second goal in particular. There's about 10 different clearances, and they're like dogs all over the football. And you would imagine Crystal Palace players haven't been put in those situations very often. So to get stung and punched in the face that early in the game and then struggle for 90 minutes, it's one where Crystal Palace and Oliver Glasner will have to look in the mirror for sure. But credit to these guys for what they've accomplished. And now it continues. The journey continues, the fun continues, and everyone will want to watch a Cinderella story to the end.
I think as well, especially considering everything that we saw, the tragic passing of one of their players recently, Ethan McLeod, and all the players coming out and saying, you know, he was with us today. This win was for him. It was a really emotional day, wasn't it, all things considered?
Yeah, and you know, thoughts to the family as well, because for the beauty of this and how great it is that the family is at home thinking, we wish he was there, and there's a sadness to it, and you know, our condolences go to the family. And I just think when you talk about these stories, it's great talking about the players, talking about the ownership. Look at this young man here. That's a memory for life. That's a fan for life now. He can talk, and these players can talk about. They'll see players now like Adam Wharton will go with England to the World Cup, and they could be having a beer and talking about the England game, played against him. Remember when we beat them? It's a memory that will live forever. I just think this is the magic of the FA Cup. They talk about it from a Cinderella story. I talk about it from that young man there has got a memory for life. He'll tell everyone the best game of football he ever watched was Macclesfield beating Crystal Palace. And it just becomes this wonderful encapsulation of what football can bring to everybody.
My experience with the FA Cup, crazy experience. We play against Kettering. I'm playing for Leeds United. We play against Kettering Town. 600 seats they have in their stadium. Just over 604 seats they have in their stadium.
Yeah.
Go there, we'll knock these guys out. Don't win. Go play the return like at Ellen Road. We'll beat these guys. Extra time. Can't knock them out. We knock them out. Next week, we go play Manchester United in Old Trafford and beat Manchester United in Old Trafford. Yeah. So you can't make sense of it. Yeah. It's just totally insane, some of the results that happen. But again, it's the beauty. It reminds you of why you play football and why you watch football. It's the beauty of the game that when you cross the line, if you have 11 guys that are motivated, in this case also extra motivated with the passing of their teammate and their brother, right? Extra motivated and organized, anything is possible in football. That's why we all watch. That's why we all play it, because that's the beauty of it. That's the dream of it.
It's so true. It's why the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup is so important to English football. Like you said, Troy, to see the fans out there and to see even them being inspired, but for the players as well. Maybe they have a good day. They get put on the radar of some other clubs as well. The possibilities are big, aren't they, in moments like this? Crystal Palace, on the other hand, it's been a bit interesting with everything that was happening with Oliver Glasner. Here's a look at what he said after the game, because he's not, the first manager to speak out and to criticise this season. We saw it, obviously, with the Chelsea manager that was let go, Enzo Maresca, and most recently with Ruben Amorim. Now Oliver Glasner's just criticised his team by saying, we conceded another set play goal, so all the things, losing a header because we've got no timing, and in the attack there's no physicality, there's no pace, no dribbling, and then it's just tough against any team. But on the other side, I think our under-21s would have done better than what we did today. Therefore, things have to be changed.
Just in case you didn't understand the first part. He finishes it with the second part. I think the under-21s would have done better. This is just screaming to the board, no physicality, no pace, no dribbling. We don't have the tools. Yeah. I don't have the tools to win games here anymore. Yeah. And that's basically what he's screaming there. Now, whether that's accurate or not,
I think it's a fair assessment as well. That's the bad part about it. We've seen Maresca recently, and we saw Amorim recently say things which have ultimately led to them leaving. I think Glasner is in a position that Palace need him. He knows he's wanted. He knows that people are admirers of him. But he's been saying the same message for nearly 3.5 months now. Six months if you go right away back to the window. I need more players. You've sold Eze, you haven't replaced him. You're talking about losing Gahey now, we haven't replaced him. I need the money. Not only have I gotten you the FA Cup last year, which brings its own money, gotten you into Europe. We've won the Community Shield, and we've got more money and more riches than ever, and we're not spending. And the squad depth is smaller than most. And in the run to the set pieces that he's talking about, he's actually talking facts. So of the 9-game skid that they're on, 16 goals they've conceded, 10 of them have been from set plays. That's not a setup. That's an individual doing your jobs. And if it keeps happening, now you have to start looking at the players. You can't look at the coaches.
Do you think in this situation that's different to the Maresca and the Amorim situation, Glasner has all the power and Crystal Palace need to keep hold of him? Or do you think that even after making comments like that we could see his time come to an end, not on his own terms?
I think every board and every ownership don't want to be told the harsh truth. They want it sugar-coated. They'll tell you, tell us the truth, we want that. That's right in front of their face. There's pictures as well of Mark Gahey talking to the fans. That's never good. Again, what are Palace trying to do? That would be a question that I'd be asking as a fan. We keep having promises of a new stadium that hasn't came yet. Keep promising that we want to finish higher. We keep selling our best players. We never retain anybody. And every single time, if you keep selling your best players, just look at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves over the last 5 years have sold their best players year after year. Now look where they are. West Ham doing the same thing. If you're a Palace fan, you can see how this goes. So I think they need to be very, very careful. They need to make some changes very, very quickly. If not, he will go, and he won't be the first manager that gets moved on. And as well as I do, Grell, any manager out there would take this Palace job in a heartbeat.
The ownership has got one long arm and one short arm, like this. With this arm they take, and with this arm they can't reach the pocket. That's what's going on with Crystal Palace at the moment.
Sounds like you.
I'm like this, even more. I'm even more bent.
Like Grella would go to the cafeteria for lunch together. Oliver Glasner, though, if things do, start happening, because we know once one manager goes in football, now there's two vacancies.
Yeah.
Obviously, Liam Rosenior's just gone in at Chelsea. Do you think Glasner will make it to the end of the season with Palace before he moves on?
I hope so, because I think the story's been brilliant. I think he's transformed the way that they play, the way that they're respected. He's won them things, which hasn't happened for a long, long time. I think I'd always like that beautiful ending. I think that he deserves it for the time spent there. The worry is, as you say, people are on the hunt for jobs now. If you're Manchester United, not many coaches can play the 3-4-3, which they've been buying for. And then on the flip side, if you are a German team, a Spanish team, even a Premier League team, and you're unsure that your manager's long-term, if he goes, well, let's go and get him now. Let's go and get him available. He's only spoken out when he hasn't had the tools. He's never spoken out before. He's not a Maresca. He's not a De Zerbi type that are constantly complaining about what they haven't got. He's like, cool, give me the tools, I'll deal with it. But if you don't give him the tools, that's when he causes a problem.
Could you see it, Grell? Could you see him going before the end of the season, or you think it'll be after the season if we see a change?
It'll be up to the Crystal Palace ownership, I think, in terms of what they want to go and where they want to move forward. I think it's pretty clear he's going to move on at the end of because his contract will run out at the end of the year. So it's just a matter of when they want to implement it. I think he more than likely to answer a short answer. I think he will be there at the end of the season.
And he has to be one of the best managers that becomes available at that time. Is that because of what he's done with Crystal Palace? Because let's not forget as well, they're in the Conference League this season, but he actually qualified them for the Europa League before they had to drop down to the next tier.
But even that, again, was an ownership problem. So it's not like they didn't know. Again, the ownership can't help but keep getting in the way. He will feel that he's in a good place, good spot. I just think that Palace need to figure out what they want to do. They really have to figure out who they want to be and what they want to do going forward.
Where does that leave them, by the way, if they if they lose Gahey and if he goes, Oliver Glasner?
It's a whole nother project. And this is my frustration with clubs. They start a project, it gets to a point where that project is in full motion and we need to kick on. And then they get tight all of a sudden. They're like, oh, I don't want to spend. We're scared to take that next step. So if you lose Oliver Glasner, in my opinion, you're going to go backwards in manager in terms of quality. You've got to restart with a new squad that's nowhere near as good as the last one. It only gets worse after this, in my opinion.